The moment that changed everything was so quiet it almost felt unreal. His fork hovering over his plate, the TV murmuring in the background, and my little girl standing in the doorway, staring at his food like she was waiting for something bad to happen. I was already packed, shoes on, bag by the door, convinced I could slip away without a scene. Then he followed her gaze, looked up at me, and his face hardened. I knew right then I wasn't leaving quietly anymore. So tell me honestly, was I wrong for trying to leave the way I did? Or would you have done the same if your child was standing there watching? I didn't marry a cruel man, at least not the way he started out. When I met him, he was charming, protective, the kind of person who made you feel special just by choosing you. People told me I was lucky. I believed them. The control crept in slowly, disguised as concern. He didn't like certain friends. He questioned my spending. He didn't like how I dressed. Every time I pushed back, he told me I was too sensitive. Over time, I learned that staying quiet made life easier. When our daughter was born, I hoped things would change. He adored her in public, posted photos, bragged about being a dad. At home, though, the tension never left. My daughter learned to read his moods before she could read books. She knew when to be quiet, when to disappear into her room. I told myself she was too young to remember, that as long as he wasn't hurting her, it wasn't that bad. The lie worked until one night she asked me in a whisper if Daddy was mad at her. That question stayed with me. I started planning to leave in secret, hiding a little money, packing slowly, waiting for the right moment because I was terrified of what would happen if he found out. That night he was distracted, scrolling on his phone, barely eating. I told my daughter to put on her shoes like we were just stepping out. She trusted me completely. I grabbed my bag and headed for the door. Then she came back, stood in the doorway and stared at his plate. He noticed instantly. He asked what was going on, his voice low and sharp. I tried to lie, but it didn't work. He stood up, the chair scraping loudly, and my daughter started crying, clutching my leg. So that was the moment. That was the choice. Before I tell you what I did next, I want you to think about what you would have done in my place. Would you have stayed and tried to calm him down again, or would you have risked everything to leave? When he stepped toward me, something inside me snapped. I pulled my daughter behind me and told him we were leaving. Not asking, he laughed, then his voice changed and the threats came out. When he reached for me, I screamed for him to stop. He froze just long enough. I grabbed my daughter's hand and ran. I didn't look back. I barely remember the drive, just her asking if Daddy was mad at her and me telling her no over and over. The aftermath was messy. He called non-stop. He showed up once and the police were called. There were tears, fear, and hard decisions. But slowly life got quieter, safer. My daughter slept through the night again. One day she told me she wasn't scared anymore, and that made everything worth it. I still think about that moment at the table, and how close I was to staying out of fear. I regret many things, but leaving isn't one of them. If you were on my side, like this video, subscribe for more stories like this, and share your thoughts on this whole mess in the comments. I'll see you all in the next story.